morning, knitters. As you can see, we're ready to finish off our dishcloth today. A lot of you have been super speedy and are already either done or just patiently waiting to cast off. So I thought I would put up 2 short videos today because I've had a couple of questions about lifelines and fixing mistakes and things like that. And I thought I would separate that out from the cast off video and weaving in ends so that in case this was something that you wanted to look up later, you wouldn't have to wade through a 10-minute video to find the skill. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is how to install a lifeline. So I know that up until this point, the rest of my knitting is correct. So I'm going to add in a lifeline with either a different colored yarn or a piece of dental floss, anything that you can thread through the stitches in order to keep them secure. So I've got my needle threaded up with a different color yarn so that I know the difference between the two. And I'm just going to run it along those stitches right up against the needle, just underneath the leg of the stitch, effectively sewing that line of yarn into that row, the very top row of stitches. And then you can remove your needle, and now you see that I have that extra piece of yarn secured just inside against the needle and the stitches. So now I'm going to go ahead, I know that that is all correct, I'm going to go ahead and knit my next row. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a really common sort of non-thinking mistake, which we all do all the time, and that's where we know we have to do a knit 2 together at the beginning of here, but oftentimes if we get distracted and we forget to do that decrease. So let's say I've just knit the first 3 stitches and then my brain kicks in and I think, oh, I've forgotten to do my decrease. What do? Do I rip it out? Or maybe you've found a mistake that's 50 stitches back and you don't want to rip the whole thing off the needles in order to fix it. What you can do is something called Tink, which is just knit backwards. And that's all you're going to do is knit your stitches backwards. So you're going to take your left-hand needle, you're going to tuck it in under the back of the loop of the stitch in the row below. And then now you know that the stitch in the row below is secure on your left-hand needle. You're going to slide the right-hand needle tip just out of the first loop, don't go any further. And if you just give a little tug, that last new stitch that you made will disappear. Now I still need to back up 1 more stitch. So you tuck the left-hand needle tip into the whole loop of the stitch below. I think you can see that. Take the right-hand needle tip out of just that 1 loop of the new stitch, give a little tug, and the stitch disappears. And I have now unknit those 2 stitches that were incorrect, and now I can go ahead and fix where I need my my decrease to be. So I'm going to go ahead and do my decrease like that. And I'm done. Okay, so now let's pretend that I have, gone a few more rows and then I've discovered that I've made an error and I don't want to have to unknit 3 rows. So I'm going to use my lifeline. So all you have to do, and here's where things, you still need to go slowly, right? Because, well, you want to fix the mistake, not make it worse. So we're going to take the needle, we're going to slide the needle tip out of all of those live stitches. And don't panic, because remember, we have this lifeline that's holding on to an entire row of live stitches, so we're okay. We're going to take the working yarn and just gently pull, and as you can see, all of the row of stitches that you just did will come undone. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pick up the row of stitches that are being held by the lifeline. So you take your needle tip and you have to make sure that you catch the stitches going in the right direction. You don't want to twist stitches here when you're picking them up. So if you can see, if I spread them out a little bit, you can see how they're all going the same way over the lifeline. And that's the way you want to make sure you pick them up. So you don't want to come at the stitch from this side and pick it up like that, because then you've twisted it. So you want to make sure that they're all going in the same direction. Take your needle tip, slide it in, gently pick up those loops, and then you're good to go. And you might as well just go ahead and leave that lifeline there, because maybe you'll need to use it again. And that's it. So next video, we learn how to cast off and weave in ends.